There comes a moment quiet, uncelebrated, unnoticed by the world, where a man looks in the mirror and sees the gap between who he is and who he was meant to be. That moment is not loud. It doesn't come with applause. It comes like a whisper, like a question echoing in the chamber of your soul. What are you doing with your life? And in that whisper lies the revolution. Because if you truly listen, it will shake you to your bones. You see, action is not just motion. It's not just movement. Action is a declaration, a commitment, a refusal to sit one more day in the prison of potential. When you force yourself to take action, you are ripping the chains from your future and saying, I will no longer be a spectator in the arena of my own life. But understand this, it will not feel good. It will not feel comfortable. That's why most never do it. That's why most die with their music still in them. Because action requires rebellion. Rebellion against comfort, rebellion against excuses, rebellion against the version of yourself that has settled for maybe later. And if you're waiting for motivation, you've already lost. Motivation is a mirage. It's a spark. It flickers, then disappears. But discipline is the fire, and action is the fuel. You don't wait for the feeling. You create it. You manufacture momentum. You drag your body into the doing, and the doing reshapes the being. Let me be blunt. Your future does not care how you feel today. The version of you 5 years from now is either cursing your name or thanking you, and the deciding factor is what you choose to do when you don't feel like it. You must train yourself like a warrior trains his reflex. You must hardwire your mind so that when doubt whispers, stay still, your spirit roars. Move. Because every second you hesitate is a seed planted in the garden of regret. And the weeds of regret grow fast. They choke joy. They suffocate progress. They wrap themselves around your dreams until all that's left is memory and missed opportunity. But relentless action clears the soil. It makes room for greatness. Start ugly, start small, start uncertain, but start, because action is the evidence of belief. You don't need perfect clarity to begin. You need courage. Clarity comes after movement. Insight comes after impact. And wisdom belongs to the doers. So many people think they need to figure it all out before they start. Let me tell you the truth. They're lying to themselves. They're addicted to the illusion of preparation. Perfection is procrastination wearing a mask. The people who make it, who break through, who rise above, they're not waiting to feel ready. They are making themselves ready through movement. When the alarm clock screams and your bed is warm and the dream is distant, that's the proving ground. That's where destiny is forged. Not in comfort, not in ease, but in that one decisive moment where you say, let's go. And you go. One step, one rep, one page, one phone call. That's where it starts. And then momentum. Like a flywheel building speed. Action feeds action, motion multiplies. And suddenly, you're not the same person anymore. You're a machine. You're a force. You're dangerous to anything that stands in your way. But you've got to stop negotiating with your mind. Your mind is a master negotiator. It knows your weaknesses. It knows your patterns. And it will use every trick in the book to keep you where it's safe. But safe is not where growth lives. Safety is where dreams go to die. You've got to break the pattern, shock the system, interrupt the loop of delay with decisive action. Action so aggressive, so deliberate, that even your inner critic falls silent in awe. You want confidence? Earn it through action. Confidence doesn't come from affirmation, it comes from evidence. Show yourself what you're capable of. Stack the wins, build the proof. Action after action, brick after brick. You are building the foundation of a legacy, one decision at a time. One choice to rise when everything inside you says sit. One refusal to be ordinary. You must become addicted to execution. You must fall in love with follow-through. Let others talk about what they're going to do. Let others dream. You move. You build. You become. There's a law of nature. Energy begets energy. Action begets clarity. The more you do, the more you become, and the less you tolerate the parts of you that once kept you stuck. But here's the truth. No one wants to say your life is your fault. Your results are your fault. Not in shame, not in blame, but in power. That means you can change it. That means you can rebuild it. That means you can rise as high as you're willing to act. Stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for the sign. This is the sign, this moment, this message, this breath. You are one decision away from a completely different life. But only if you move. Because thinking is not transformation. Reading is not transformation. Doing is transformation. Life rewards the doers, not the wishers, not the wanderers, the warriors. So force it. Force the motion. Force the habit. Force the call. Force the creation. Force yourself into the arena bloody, messy, terrified, if you must, but in it. Because the man who steps into the fire of action will come out forged, hardened, unstoppable. The pain of discipline is nothing compared to the agony of regret. The temporary discomfort of action is the price of permanent growth, and your future is begging you to pay it. Do not go to your grave with your greatness still inside you. Do not spend one more day wishing, hoping, dreaming while life passes you by. Wake up, get up, move. Because action is the great separator, the great transformer, the spark that becomes the fire, and the fire that becomes the furnace of your destiny. This is not a motivational speech. This is a call to war. And the battlefield is your hesitation. The enemy is your excuses. The victory is in the doing. So force yourself. Again, and again, and again, until the man who once needed motivation becomes the man who moves mountains. Until next chunk. Because once you cross that line, once you realize that the version of you that takes action doesn't wait for the stars to align, doesn't beg for the mood to strike, everything changes. Everything. The gym no longer requires motivation. The project no longer needs the perfect plan. The business idea no longer sits in your notebook collecting dust. Because you, the doer, the decider, the mover, you, are no longer controlled by feelings. You've turned yourself into the kind of person who acts because it's who you are now. You've turned yourself into a force of nature. And people will notice. They'll start asking how you do it, how you stay disciplined, how you keep going. And here's the secret: you don't always feel like it. You're just no longer enslaved by your feelings. Let that settle in, because that's freedom. That's where your power begins. The moment you stop being dictated by the shifting winds of your emotional state and start being directed by the compass of your commitment. You see, there's a part of you deeper than your laziness, stronger than your fear, louder than your doubt that knows. It knows you were built for more. That part of you is your power, your essence, your fire. But it is asleep until you act. Action is the alarm clock of your potential. So ring it loud. Force yourself to act when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is watching. Because every time you do that, you're carving a new identity. You're telling your subconscious, this is who we are now. And over time, the resistance fades. The hesitation weakens. The habit becomes instinct. And when it's instinct, you become dangerous. Not just talented, not just skilled, unstoppable. The kind of person who can build empires from ashes, who can rise from failure like it was fuel, who doesn't flinch when the world says impossible because they've seen themselves do what they once thought they couldn't. That's the reward of action. Not just results, not just trophies, but transformation. Let the others wait. Let the others debate. You're building. While they talk, you train. While they fear, you fight. While they scroll, you sculpt. You are no longer asking life for permission. You're claiming it. You're tearing possibility from the sky and hammering it into form with every decisive act. And you must keep going, because life doesn't respond to intention, it responds to initiative. The universe bends not to wishes, but to will. The kind of will that says, I'm doing this no matter how I feel, no matter who's watching, no matter how hard it gets, because it will get hard. There will be days when your mind screams, quit, when your body says enough, when the voice in your head sounds more like your enemy than your ally. And on those days, you must act anyway, especially on those days, because that's where the separation happens. That's where the strong are born. That's where the champions live, in the dark hours, in the hard reps, in the second wind, when there shouldn't be one. And every time you act, when it's hard, you stack proof. Proof that you're stronger than your excuses. Proof that you are the master, not the servant. And over time, that proof becomes power. Quiet, unshakable, undeniable power. Power to lead, power to create, power to command your destiny. And you will need that power, because life will test you. Storms will come. Doors will close. People will doubt you. You will doubt yourself. But when you've trained in the discipline of action, you will not break. You will bend, adapt, evolve, but you will not break. Because action makes you anti-fragile. It turns pressure into progress. It turns fear into fuel. It turns you into the kind of person this world desperately needs, someone who doesn't just talk about potential, but realizes it. Someone who doesn't just dream of greatness, but builds it brick by brick, day by day. And yes, there will be days when no one applauds. When it feels like you're working in the dark, unseen, uncelebrated. But hear me, the seeds you plant in private will bloom in public. Keep planting. Keep showing up. Keep building the discipline to act without the need for validation. Because the day will come when the world will ask, how did you do it? And you'll smile. Because you'll know. You forced yourself. You acted. You paid the price. And you became the person who no longer needed to be pushed. Because you became the one who pushes. Because when you push yourself beyond the line where most men quit, when you move past the realm of trying and into the dominion of doing, the entire rhythm of your life changes. Your habits transform. Your posture shifts. Your energy no longer leaks into distractions or drama. It is channeled, forged, directed like a laser into what matters. You become lethal with your time, strategic with your focus, and ruthless with anything that tries to steal your momentum. You start to walk different, not with arrogance, but with authority. The authority that comes from knowing, not believing, but knowing that you are no longer bound by your past, no longer shackled by who you used to be. Why? Because you've paid the price of action. Because you didn't fold when it was hard. Because you acted when others waited, built while others doubted, showed up while others slept. And in that daily decision to move, to execute, to push forward, you cross the invisible line that separates the average from the extraordinary, the watchers from the warriors, the talkers from the builders. You have to understand, the life you want is not hidden behind a secret. It is not trapped in a book, buried in a course, or held hostage by luck. It is unlocked through brutal consistency, through days stacked upon days of doing the work whether you feel like it or not. You cannot live an exceptional life with average action. You cannot become a king with the discipline of a pawn. And yet, the tragedy is that most people know what they need to do, they just won't do it. They've convinced themselves that they need more information, more time, more certainty. No, they need more courage, more discipline, more movement. Because clarity comes through action, not before it. The fog lifts when your feet start moving. You find the path by walking it. You find your power by using it. You find your voice by speaking, even if it shakes. And that's what I need you to understand today. Action is not just about tasks. It's not about productivity hacks or time management tricks. It is spiritual. It is sacred. It is how you take the invisible, your dreams, your vision, your calling, and make it real. And the more you do it, the more you change. Not just on the outside, not just the bank account, the body, the business, but on the inside, the identity, the self-respect, the unshakable inner strength that no one can give you and no one can take away. You start to love yourself in a new way, not because of what you say, but because of what you do. Because every time you act in alignment with your highest self, you cast a vote for that version of you. You reinforce it. You water it. You bring it to life. You start to trust yourself. And that trust becomes your edge, your calm in chaos, your peace in pressure, because you know deep in your bones that no matter what comes, you will act, you will rise, you will figure it out, because that's who you are now. Not a dreamer, a doer, not a wisher, a worker, not a follower of feelings, but a leader of your life. And the people around you will feel it. They will see the way you move, the way you show up, the way you don't flinch when it's hard. And some will be inspired. Others will be intimidated. That's not your concern, because you are no longer in the business of seeking approval. You are in the business of building a life. And that business requires relentless action. You will not always be the most talented. You will not always be the most gifted, but you can always be the most disciplined, the most committed, the most willing to do what others won't. And that over time makes you unstoppable. Because success is not found in one massive leap. It's forged in the grind, the repetition, the discipline to do the mundane, the unsexy, the difficult day after day, without applause, without shortcuts, without excuses, until one day, the world calls it overnight success. But you'll know the truth. You'll know about the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the sweat. You'll know about the days you didn't want to show up, but did anyway. The times you didn't feel ready, but acted anyway. The failures you turned into fuel. The doubts you turned into drive. That's what separates the few from the many. Not luck, not gifts, but action. Sustained, disciplined, relentless action. And this is your moment. To stop waiting, to stop wishing, to stop hiding behind someday, and move. Force yourself, because you are not weak. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are powerful beyond measure. But that power will remain potential until it is activated through action. Because everything in your life is waiting on one thing, your decision to move. Your mind is waiting for leadership. Your body is waiting for command. Your destiny is waiting for permission. And all of them are asking one thing from you, to act. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but now, with fire, with courage, with intention. You don't need the full plan. You need the first step. And once you take it once, your feet hit the ground and the dust kicks up and your heart pounds with the reality that you're finally doing it. That's when life responds. That's when doors open. That's when energy flows. That's when the universe begins to rearrange itself around your motion. But motion must come first. Too many sit in the corner of their own life, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be chosen. You don't get chosen. You choose. You choose yourself. You crown yourself. You rise because you say, enough is enough. And if you do not choose, life will choose for you. And it will not be kind. It will hand you mediocrity. It will hand you regrets. It will hand you a life filled with what ifs. What if I had started? What if I had tried harder? What if I had taken that leap? And those questions will haunt you not because of what you did, but because of what you refused to do. But not you. Not anymore. Because the second you force yourself into action, you interrupt that pattern. You cut the chain. You rewrite the story. You turn the page and begin a new chapter 1 written in sweat, in blood, in truth. One where you are no longer the victim of your own life, but the author of it. Every action is a sentence, every habit is a paragraph, and every breakthrough, that's a climax only earned by the one who keeps writing, even when the ink runs dry, even when the world doubts the ending. And let me tell you this, you're not just capable of changing your life, you're responsible for it. Read that again. This is your story. No one else is going to write it. No one else is going to build it. No one else is coming to save you. The hero you've been waiting for is you. But the hero only emerges when the sword is drawn, when the journey begins, when the first battle is fought, not against the world, but against the inner voice that says, stay small. Silence it with movement, with creation, with one bold act of defiance against fear. Because every time you force yourself to do what's hard, what's uncomfortable, what's inconvenient, you gain strength. you gain clarity, you gain control. And that control, that inner command, that is what builds the life you want. Not talent, not hope, not luck. Control over your time, over your focus, over your mind, over your actions. The disciplined man is the free man. And freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It is the mastery of it. It's waking up and doing the hard thing, especially when no one's watching. It's standing up when your knees are shaking. It's speaking when your voice is trembling. It's showing up again and again and again because your future demands it. This world will tempt you with comfort. It will offer you 1,000 reasons to slow down, to take the easy path, to rest a little longer. But the man who rests before he earns it never knows the thrill of true achievement. So earn it. Every drop of sweat, every ounce of progress, every inch of growth earned through the furnace of relentless action. You want self-respect? Show up when it's hard. You want pride? Do it when no one's clapping. You want legacy? Keep going when it feels like it's not working, because that's when most give up. And that's the secret. Keep moving, even when it's dark, even when it's uncertain, even when everything in you wants to stop. Because action is light. Action is clarity. Action is truth. So act. Now. Today. Not later. Not tomorrow. Not once things calm down. Now. Because you are not running out of time, you are running out of chances. And every day you delay is another day stolen from the man you were born to become. Take it back. Seize the day. Seize the hour. Seize this very second. And move. Because this is your life. And you're finally ready to live it. And now, as you stand at the edge of who you've been and who you must become, there's only one thing left to do. Act. Not with hesitation. Not with second guessing. But with the full force of a soul awakened. Like a lion finally let out of its cage. Like a warrior returned from the silence of hiding. Ready to reclaim what was his all along. You force yourself, because the life you want will not gently place itself into your hands. It must be taken, seized, demanded with sweat, and carved with discipline. You must declare it with your action not once, but daily. That body you want? Action. That business you dream of? Action. That peace of mind, that confidence, that strength, that unshakable power, all of it, every ounce of it, lies on the other side of relentless, unflinching, unyielding action. This is the raw truth. And it should excite you, because it means you're not waiting anymore. You're not waiting for the market to shift. You're not waiting for approval. You're not waiting for the past to forgive you. You're not waiting for someone to come hand you your greatness. You're walking into it, eyes open, spine straight, heart pounding, because you chose to become the one who acts. And you will become addicted not to results, but to execution, not to rewards, but to discipline. You'll fall in love with the rhythm of progress, with the way your confidence compounds, with the fire in your chest when you realize you're doing it. You're becoming the man you once only imagined. You're rewriting the definition of your life with every rep, every choice, every moment of showing up. And no, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be. That's what makes it worth it. Because anyone can wait. Anyone can wish. Anyone can talk. But not everyone can force themselves to rise when it's raining, when it's painful, when it's lonely, when there's no cheering, no applause, no safety net. That's where the few are forged. That's where kings are born. You have to stop thinking it's supposed to feel good. It's not. It's supposed to make you strong. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the signal that you are breaking through. Resistance is not a wall. It's a test. And if you lean in, if you move anyway, you realize the resistance was never outside. It was within. And once you conquer that, no goal is too high. No fear too loud. No obstacle too strong. Because you are no longer made of hesitation. You are made of motion. You are the storm. You are the shift. You are the signal that something new has entered the room. So go act on that dream, that idea, that purpose. Act on it with a fury so intense that even your old self steps aside in awe. Because this is no longer theory, this is becoming. This is your transformation, not because you waited, but because you moved. The old you fades away in the light of action. The weak you burns off in the fire of execution. The version of you who doubted, who delayed, who feared, he no longer exists. Because you are here now. And here, you act. Every moment, every breath, every second, from this day forward, driven not by feeling, but by mission. Because you have tasted the truth. Action is power. Action is healing. Action is identity. Action is freedom. So, when the world sleeps, you act. When others hesitate, you act. When fear rises, you act louder. Because your life is not defined by what you felt. It is defined by what you did. So make it undeniable. Let your days be proof. Let your habits scream. Let your results be so loud that no one, not even you, can ever question again who you are. You are action. You are execution. You are becoming unstoppable because you forced yourself to begin. And now, there's no turning back. This is your life. Go live it through action. The clock does not stop. The sun does not pause. The day does not wait for your readiness. Every morning, life resets the playing field. Every morning, you and the most powerful people on earth are given the exact same gift, 24 hours. No more, no less. What separates the kings from the pawns, the builders from the beggars, the fulfilled from the frustrated is not talent, not luck, not background. It's how they use those 24 hours. So let me ask you something. What are you doing with yours? Are you spending them like loose change, scattered in distractions, buried under excuses? Or are you investing them like gold deliberately, wisely, with the mind of a creator and the heart of a warrior? Because every hour is a vote for your future. Every decision is a brick in the foundation of your destiny. And every wasted moment is an insult to your potential. Success does not belong to the lucky. It belongs to the intentional. And time is the most brutally honest currency in the world. It reveals everything. It shows what you value. It reflects what you believe. It amplifies who you are. You cannot lie to time. You cannot cheat it. You can only align with it or be destroyed by your ignorance of it. So if you want to succeed, truly succeed, you must become a master of your hours. Not in theory. In practice, that begins with mindset. Because the moment you see time as scarce, you treat it with urgency. But the moment you see it as abundant, you start letting it slip through your fingers like water. Let's be clear. You don't have time. You are given time. You don't own it, you rent it. And the rent is due daily in the form of attention, discipline, and execution. So start with this. Stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, it's not a priority. Because that's the truth. You have the time. You've just given it away to things that matter less than your dream. And until your dream becomes more important than your notifications, until your vision is louder than your distractions, until your purpose burns hotter than your comfort, you will never know the power of one well-lived day. The successful don't do more things. They do the right things with relentless focus. They don't fill their day, they forge their day. Every hour has a name. Every block of time has a mission. Every minute serves the mission, or it is cut. This isn't obsession. This is ownership. Because when you own your hours, you begin to own your life. But you must believe that what you do today shapes what you have tomorrow. That the seeds of your habits grow into the forest of your results. And belief is the fuel of consistent action. You must believe you are worthy of success, or you will unconsciously sabotage the very schedule that could lead you there. You must believe your time matters, or you will keep giving it to people and activities that don't. You must believe that 24 hours is not your limitation, it's your greatest leverage. Because you don't need more time. You need more clarity. Clarity about what matters. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what your life is actually for. And clarity begins by eliminating the noise, eliminating the lies you tell yourself to avoid doing the real work, eliminating the endless scrolling, the constant checking, the meaningless meetings that masquerade as productivity. You need to get ruthless about what belongs in your 24 hours. If it doesn't move you forward, it moves you backward. There is no neutral. So every morning before the world wakes, before the demands pour in, you declare, these are my hours, and this is what I will do with them. Because vision without a plan is just fantasy, and a plan without execution is just wasted ink on a calendar. You must build structure, not rigidity structure. You must schedule your genius. If you don't protect your creative hours, the world will consume them with its chaos. You must protect your focus like a vault. Turn off the noise, close the tabs, block the distractions, shut the doors. Because what you do in a focused hour is worth more than 10 distracted ones. This is how high performers separate from the pack. They know the cost of a scattered mind. They know the value of deep work. And they respect their schedule like it's sacred because it is. But discipline is not just about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to your future. It's not about deprivation. It's about liberation. The more you structure your day, the more freedom you will create. Freedom to create. Freedom to think. Freedom to build. Freedom to live on your terms. And yes, it will take sacrifice. You will have to choose between sleep and success, between Netflix and progress, between comfort and greatness. But that's the price of a meaningful life. That's the cost of becoming legendary. And the beautiful irony is this: once you master your hours, you'll have more life than ever before, because you'll stop living in reaction. You'll start living with intention. And from intention comes momentum. And from momentum comes transformation. And from transformation comes a life you don't need a vacation from. All of it begins in a single hour. Chosen, owned, used well. Because the way you do 1 hour is how you do your day. And the way you do your day is how you do your life. So if you want to change your life, don't start with the year, start with the next hour. 1 hour of focused action can shift your entire trajectory. 1 hour of silence and planning can give birth to breakthroughs people spend decades chasing. 1 hour of discipline, practiced daily, can build empires, launch movements, rebuild broken dreams. The question is, will you show up for it? Will you treat your time like treasure? Or will you keep spending it like it's free? You see, those who win, they respect the invisible. They respect what others cannot see. The quiet work, the lonely hours, the unseen sacrifices. They know that while the world claps for results, life rewards what's done in the dark. That 5 a.m. workout, that 2-hour block of deep work while everyone else sleeps, that quiet moment of journaling, of strategy, of self-honesty, that's where success is forged. Because time is not just a resource, it's a mirror. It reflects back exactly what you put into it. And if you fill your time with distraction, with fear, with procrastination dressed as preparation, don't be surprised when your life feels cluttered, chaotic, and incomplete. But if you fill your hours with clarity, if you fill your minutes with mastery, if you fill your seconds with purpose, then your life will start to sing, not in noise, but in harmony. Because now every moment matters. Every block of time becomes sacred ground. Every hour is an altar where you place your intention and your effort and your belief, and from that offering, the universe responds. It has to, because time given in faith and focus always returns with favor. But understand this: if you don't design your time, someone else will. And they won't design it for your greatness. They'll design it for their convenience. So protect your mornings like gold. Guard your evenings like a throne. Carve out space for silence, because only in silence can you hear the signal that guides your soul. Success doesn't come from being busy. It comes from being aligned, and alignment requires space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to choose. If you fill every second with stimulation, you'll never feel the whisper of wisdom. You'll just be stuck in a cycle of noise. And noise kills clarity. So declutter your time, not just from tasks, but from people. Some people are time leaks. They don't just waste your minutes. They steal your momentum. Be ruthless with who gets your calendar. Be even more ruthless with what gets your attention, because attention is time in motion. And if your attention is scattered, so is your destiny. The successful, they move different. They don't just show up early. They arrive with purpose. They don't fill their schedules to feel productive. They cut the unnecessary so they can focus on the essential. They live by the law of priorities, not popularity. Because they know the one who chases everything catches nothing. But the one who commits to the few, the vital few, builds a life the many only dream of. So ask yourself, what matters most? Not what looks good on paper, not what makes you busy, not what other people expect. What actually moves you? What actually brings results? What aligns with your vision, your mission, your highest calling? That and only that belongs in your 24 hours. Everything else is noise. Cut it. Because success is subtraction, not addition. Less clutter, more clarity. Less distraction, more direction. Less obligation, more ownership. That's the secret. That's the way. And it's all right there in the next hour. The most powerful people in the world aren't the ones with the most resources. They're the ones who mastered the resource everyone already has. Time. So take it seriously. Take it personally. Take it as if your future depends on it. Because it does. You can tell me your dreams. You can write down your goals. You can post quotes and affirmations on your mirror, but if your calendar doesn't reflect your ambition, you're lying to yourself. Don't talk about your vision if your day doesn't honor it. Don't speak of legacy if your hours are spent in hesitation. Don't say you want change and then keep giving your time to what keeps you the same. You cannot become someone new while clinging to the habits of the old you. And the most honest reflection of your habits? Your day. Not your feelings. Not your potential. Not your someday. Your schedule. What gets done? What gets protected? What gets repeated? Because repetition is the mother of mastery, and time is her canvas. You either paint with precision, or you let others scribble on your masterpiece. But you were not born for scribbles. You were born to create with intention, to shape your life with the chisel of time and the hands of purpose. You are the sculptor, not the statue. So stop letting the clock dictate your life, command it. When you wake up, don't just rise. Seize. When you work, don't just spend time. Multiply it with focus. When you rest, don't just numb out. Recharge with vision. Because rest without reason is avoidance. And work without direction is chaos. Balance is not doing everything. It's doing what matters most at the right time. And that's the art of using 24 hours properly. Not filling them, fulfilling them. Fulfilling your mission. Fulfilling your identity. Fulfilling the call that won't leave you alone at night. You know the one. That ache inside. That whisper. That voice that says, you were made for more. You are not crazy for hearing it. You are not selfish for honoring it. That voice is not your enemy, it's your truth. But that truth requires time. It requires energy. It requires space. And if you don't give your hours to it, if you don't carve out space for your calling, you will drown in distraction and die with your music still in you. That's the real tragedy. Not failure, but a life spent in busyness that never broke the surface of meaning. So let this be the day you stop living accidentally. Let this be the hour you reclaim your power. Let this be the moment you declare, no more wasted time. Not one more hour given to what doesn't serve me. Not one more minute handed over to fear, to small thinking, to the opinions of people who aren't building what I'm building. Because this is my life. These are my 24 hours. And I will use them like my future depends on it, because it does. This is your edge. This is your advantage. Not talent, not luck, not connections. Just the sacred, focused, intentional use of the time you already have. That's how you separate. That's how you rise. That's how you win. 1 hour at a time. One sacred hour. That's all it takes to shift momentum, to rewrite your story, to break free from the version of you that keeps settling. One sacred hour fully owned, fully lived, fully locked in. And if you can own one, you can own the next. And then the next. And before long, you don't just have a good day, you have a good life. A designed life. Built hour by hour, block by block, choice by choice. Because that's what success is, not a miracle, not a mystery, but a method. And the method is hidden in your routine. Look closely. Every world changer has one. They wake before the world demands them. They move their body to remind themselves that they are alive. They plan before they perform. They own their mornings, not as a trend, but as a strategy, because they know the first hour writes the script for the rest. And while the average hit snooze and surrender their sovereignty to the demands of others, the successful create space. Space to think, space to align, space to choose how they want to show up before the world tells them who to be. This is not hype. It is not self-help fluff. It is the discipline of the elite. And the beautiful part, you don't need to be gifted to live this way. You just need to be serious. Serious about your future. Serious about your legacy. Serious enough to stop living like you'll get another lifetime. Because you won't. This is it. And the people who get to the top, the ones who build something worth leaving behind, they're not the busiest. They're not the most stressed. They're not the most available. They're simply the most aware. They know exactly what their time is worth. And they treat it accordingly. You must do the same. Stop giving your schedule away like candy. Start treating your calendar like a contract with your future. You wouldn't miss a meeting with your boss. So why do you miss the ones you make with yourself? Why do you keep breaking promises to the one person who can actually change your life? You don't need more inspiration. You need more execution. You need to take your big goals, your 5-year vision, your someday dreams, and bring them into today, into this hour. Because this hour is real. This hour is yours. And if you let it slip, it's gone forever. That's the brutal beauty of time. You can't store it. You can only spend it. So spend it like someone who knows their worth. Spend it like someone who refuses to be average. Spend it like someone who understands. If I can master today, I will never have to chase tomorrow. Because tomorrow belongs to the people who own the hour they're living in now. And that is how you use 24 hours properly. That is how you rise. That is how you lead. That is how you win the day and win your life. And when you begin to win your life, not in massive, noisy explosions of effort, but in small, quiet, consistent dominations of your day, you become unstoppable. Because now you are not waiting for the world to give you permission. You are not begging for breaks or blaming the clock. You have become the clockmaker, the one who shapes the rhythm of life, instead of being ruled by it. You wake up not to check in, but to check within. You look at your calendar and see sacred space, not just tasks. You walk into your day not as a victim of time, but as its master. And the world will feel it. They will feel the power in your no. They will feel the depth behind your yes. They will see the quality of your work, the precision of your choices, the confidence in your eyes, and they will wonder, what changed? Here's what changed. You stopped renting your time and started investing it. You stopped leaking energy and started channeling it. You stopped running from discomfort and started running toward your destiny. This is the edge no one talks about. This is what separates the grinders from the greats. The greats do not try to do everything. They just never waste anything. Not a moment, not a breath, not a single day of the 24 they've been given. Because they know wasted time is not just lost minutes, it is lost life. And they refuse to die full of ideas, full of gifts, full of potential that was never brought to life simply because they were too busy. They're not too busy, they're too clear. And now, so are you. You're clear that distraction is the enemy. That urgency is not the same as importance. That being busy is not the same as being effective. You don't chase chaos anymore, you cut it. You don't seek overwhelm, you simplify. You don't fill your schedule to feel important. You fill it with what matters. And what matters is progress. Even 1%, even one task, even one step that moves the needle instead of another mile that goes in circles. Because success is not about speed, it's about direction. And direction is chosen hour by hour, day by day, moment by moment. And now you're choosing powerfully, not just once, but every day. You don't wait for motivation. You bring it. You don't wait for time. You make it. You don't wish for life to slow down. You speed up your clarity. This is the path. This is the discipline. This is the quiet, relentless rhythm that builds titans not in one burst, but in thousands of unseen, unstoppable hours. So as you look at the next 24, ask yourself, what does my schedule say I believe in? What am I really committed to, not in words, but in hours? And what would happen if I started treating time like the miracle it actually is? Because the day is not slipping away. It's waiting for you. And the life you want, it's not out there in the future. It's already hidden inside today. Inside these 24 sacred hours. Use them well. Because how you use them becomes who you are. And who you are becoming through the proper use of these hours is not ordinary. You are becoming rare. You are becoming focused in a distracted world, decisive in a world addicted to doubt, consistent in a culture of chaos. And that alone makes you powerful. You no longer just exist within time. You are now expressing your greatness through it. No more waiting for ideal conditions. No more wasting your morning on anxiety. No more letting the habits of mediocrity decide your fate. Because you understand the truth now. If you don't own your time, you don't own your mind. If you don't own your mind, you don't own your choices. And if you don't own your choices, you don't own your life. But you're done living on autopilot. Done surrendering your highest self for short-term stimulation. Done pretending that someday will save you. Someday is a lie. There is no someday. There is only now. And those who master now master everything. Because now is the only thing real. And you have 24 hours of it each day. You have 440 minutes of it to build the life that's been burning inside you for years. And if you let it go, you won't get it back. There is no refund on time wasted, but there is a reward for time invested. So invest it wisely. Invest it with urgency. Invest it like your future is watching, because it is. Because 5 years from now, you'll either be celebrating what you created with these hours, or you'll be explaining why you didn't. It's always your choice. It's always been your choice. Not because it's easy, but because you are ready. You're ready to wake up with intention. You're ready to protect your mornings like a king protects his throne. You're ready to stop negotiating with distraction, to stop arguing for your limitations, to stop scheduling your greatness around other people's mediocrity. Because this is your time now. And you don't just have 24 hours. You have 24 opportunities to become everything you were meant to be. So rise, plan, execute, reflect, and then rise again. Because you don't just need to use time well. You need to honor it, live inside it, lead through it. That's how you win. That's how you build the legacy. That's how you use 24 hours properly to succeed. Because success isn't earned in some far-off finish line. It's accumulated in minutes, in decisions, in how you treat this very moment. You want to change your world? Then change your hour. Want to be legendary? Then start with one legendary block of focus, repeated again and again and again until the world can no longer ignore what you've built. This is how greatness grows. Not in giant leaps, but in the stacking of powerful, purposeful, productive hours. Think of your 24 as a vault, and every hour is a deposit. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you deposit wealth. Each time you train when others sleep, you deposit advantage. Each time you say no to distraction and yes to destiny, you compound the interest of greatness. And one day, that vault will burst open not with luck, but with the overflow of everything you earned behind closed doors. That is the reward for those who take their time seriously. But understand, time doesn't care about your excuses. Time doesn't wait for your mood. Time doesn't ask if you're ready. It simply moves, with or without you. So move with it, shape it, command it. Be ruthless in your clarity. Be relentless in your pursuit. Design each day as if it's your masterpiece, because it is. And remember, your habits write history. Your rituals become results. Your consistency becomes confidence. You no longer hope for discipline. You embody it. You no longer react to the day you build it, frame it, forge it into something meaningful. This is how you become unstoppable. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters more often. This is how you become irreplaceable. By doing what others avoid. This is how you become immortal. By giving your hours to something bigger than yourself. And make no mistake, the hour you are in right now is sacred. It is a seed. Plant it with intention, water it with focus, and protect it with fire. Because how you treat this hour determines whether you survive time or transcend it. You are not here to watch the clock. You are here to own it, to master it, to lead it. And as you do, you won't just use 24 hours properly. You will multiply them. You will stretch them. You will immortalize them in the form of results, influence, impact. And in doing so, you will rise. You will lead. You will succeed. Because you didn't just count your time. You made your time count. And that is the ultimate power. To make your time count. To turn ordinary hours into extraordinary outcomes. To take the same 24 that everyone else is given and create something they never imagined possible. This is the secret the world's greatest already know. You don't need more time. You just need to treat the time you do have like it's sacred. Because it is. It's the breath of your dreams. It's the vessel of your vision. It's the only thing you truly spend that never returns. And what a tragedy it would be to look back one day, not with regret that you failed, but with the far deeper regret that you never used your time like it mattered. But that won't be your story. Because you've made the decision, you've drawn the line. You've declared that your time is yours, not your boss's, not your inboxes, not the algorithms, yours. To build, to grow, to create, to love, to lead, to become. And from this moment forward, every time you hear the tick of the clock, it won't feel like pressure. It'll feel like possibility. Because now you know the truth. Your 24 hours aren't ordinary. They are opportunity in disguise. They are power wrapped in discipline. They are legacy waiting to be written. So take them, hold them, use them, live them. And when the world asks you how you did it, how you rose, how you changed, how you built something from nothing, you'll smile. Not because you had more talent, not because you had more luck, but because you had the courage to use your 24 hours like they mattered. And that was enough. That was everything. And when it's all said and done, when the noise fades, when the lights dim, when the crowds go home, What will remain is what you built with your time. Not what you planned, not what you intended, but what you did, because action is the final word. Effort is the final judge, and time is the only witness that never lies. It saw every early morning you chose to rise. It watched every late night you stayed focused. It recorded every moment you kept going, when it was hard, when it was lonely, when it was thankless. And time will testify for you or against you. That's why you must live like every second is a sentence in the story of your greatness. Speak it boldly, write it clearly, and live it fiercely. There are no wasted hours in your new life. Only hours spent building your name into something eternal. You are no longer the same. You are no longer asleep at the wheel of your own day. You are awake, alive, on fire. You have joined the rare few who will look back on their life not with regret, but with reverence. Because you made your time mean something. You turned 24 hours into a weapon, a tool, a prayer, a purpose. And now, no matter what the world throws at you, you will not bend, you will not fold, because you are no longer hoping for time. You are commanding it. You are mastering it. And the life you've always wanted? It's no longer a question. It's a countdown. A matter of when, not if. Because the hours are now in your hands. And you will never let go again. Because once you've held time in your hands with intention, you'll never go back to drifting. You'll never again look at the clock and wonder where the day went. Because now you send it where it's meant to go. Now you don't serve time, time serves you. You don't beg it for more, you bend it to your purpose. Because now you understand that time was never the problem. Distraction was the thief. Confusion was the fog. Doubt was the chain. But you've broken that. You've cleared the fog with vision. You've shattered the chains with discipline. You've silenced the thief with action. And now the path is open. The hours ahead are yours, not just to use, but to master. So, move with clarity. Act with courage. Live with urgency. Because every single day, the sun rises on another miracle. A fresh 24 hours, gifted to you for free. It asks for no permission. It requires no credentials. It only asks one thing. What will you do with me? And now, you have an answer. A bold, unwavering, soul-powered answer. You will build. You will serve. You will lead. You will create. You will live in such a way that when your 24 hours are done, they don't disappear, they echo. They leave behind results. They leave behind impact. They leave behind a life that cannot be ignored. So as you rise tomorrow and every day after, don't just open your eyes. Open your mind. Open your hands. Open your heart. Because the hours are waiting. And your time starts now. The only time that matters. Not yesterday, that's memory. Not tomorrow, that's mystery. Now that's movement. That's the birthplace of every breakthrough, every transformation, every moment that changes everything. And you, now, have become a guardian of the now. You no longer treat it as disposable. You treat it as divine. Because what you do now echoes into eternity. What you choose now carves your future into stone. And when others sleepwalk through their day, you walk through yours with fire in your bones and clarity in your eyes. Because you've become the rare one. The one who doesn't just dream about success, but disciplines themselves into it. The one who doesn't just set goals, but schedules them. The one who doesn't wish for a better life, but works for it, one focused hour at a time. You no longer operate from hope, you operate from habit. No longer distracted, you are directed. No longer overwhelmed, you are organized by purpose. And in that purpose, every second counts. Every hour is holy. Every 24 is a blank canvas. And you, the artist, the architect, the builder of legacy. So from this moment forward, when someone asks what your secret is, you'll tell them the truth. It wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It wasn't some overnight miracle. It was the decision every single day to honor the time you were given, to protect it like treasure, to wield it like a sword, to spend it like it was your last, until one day it is. And on that final day, may you have no regrets, because you'll know you didn't just live your life. You used it. You shaped it. You owned it. 1 hour at a time, one breath at a time, one sacred 24 at a time. And that is how you use 24 hours properly, not just to succeed, but to become unforgettable.